So somebody sent me this video and I want to respond to this woman's claims.
Yeah.
Yes. Who is Jesus?
Christians say Jesus is God.
But in the Bible, John 17:3, Jesus says he was sent by God.
But we say he's God in the flesh.
Then why does Matthew 21:11 say Jesus is a prophet?
He's more than just a prophet.
Does Jesus ever explicitly say he's God?
No.
The first thing is that they call Jesus a prophet. Jesus fulfilled the role of a prophet while on earth. And it's in the context of when it's stated, it's the crowd's response to the question of who Jesus is by saying he's a prophet. So while the crowd celebrated him as a messianic figure, they didn't fully understand that Jesus is God incarnate. That was his spiritual mission, to save from sin, not to overthrow Rome. This is why just 2 verses later, in 21:11, they referred to him simply as the prophet Jesus. They saw parts of who he was, but not the full picture.
Does Jesus ever say worship me?
No.
Then she makes the claim that Jesus doesn't say he's God. In Mark 2, 5-12, Jesus forgives sins. Nobody can forgive sins except God. John 14, 8-9, if you have seen me, you have seen the Father. John 10, 30-33, I and the Father are one. John 8, 58, before Abraham was I am. It's the divine name God used for himself in Exodus 3:14. I am who I am. So before Abraham was I am. And the Jews understood this as a claim to divinity. That's why in verse 59, they try to stone Jesus for blasphemy.
And in Luke 6:12, Jesus prays all night to God. Why would God pray all night to himself?
Yeah, why does Jesus pray to himself? When Jesus prays, he's praying in his human nature to the God the Father, not denying his divinity, but demonstrating real dependence as a man. On the cross, Luke 23-46, he prayed to the Father, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. Even in death, Jesus entrusts himself to the Father. Again, not because he's less than God, but because he is truly experiencing death as a human.
But in Matthew 24:36, Jesus says he doesn't know the day of judgment. If he's God, how can he not know this?
He said that on earth. Well, it's the same reason. He's man on earth.
But you say he died on the cross.
That's right.
So God can die?
God made himself human and died in the flesh on the cross and was risen by the Spirit that resides within us and is now seated at the right hand with the Father.
Hang on, so you're saying that God punished all of humanity for one person's sin?
So why did God punish all of humanity for one sin? Humanity inherits sin and death through Adam. It was pretty much like the entrance for evil.